Welcome to part 2 of this out of line discussion with Jen Gotch.
Now, all right, let's dive into something totally different.
Okay.
Give me the brief history of your life on social media.
Well, I was thinking about this. I feel like my first social media platform was Flickr. Ever heard of it?
Ooh, are you still on it? That's the question.
I think I still have, like, I'm not active on it, but I think my account, it was Danske. Danske. It was like an old nickname that Andrew had for me.
That meant what?
Well, there was like some, well, Jaden will probably know, there was like an advertisement or commercial in Australia that was like for ice cream. And it was like, Danske cream. And I don't know, he always used to sing that to me. And so I don't know why I used that and not my name. I have no idea. Also, my Etsy password, like my Etsy username, not password. What am I, crazy?
Tell us your password.
I probably would. Is Girl on the Verge.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Is that still active?
Yeah.
That's amazing. What does that mean?
Exactly.
Girl on the verge. That is
Could
really...
be on the verge of a breakdown, on the verge of greatness, on
orgasm.
on the verge of something. Oh. Yeah. But I don't know. I don't know why I did that. But anyway, so I feel like Flickr. So I kind of started a blog. I don't even know how I found out about blogs, but I feel like it was like 2007. And so much different blog landscape. But I somehow found out about it and then just was like, even just the way people could link a word and take you to another site. I was like, this is so cool. And so I started getting really into reading blogs, and then I made my own blog, and then I made another blog, and then I was on Flickr, and it was like all connected. It was all very about like photography. And so that's where it started. And then, social media and those connections, because this was all pre-Instagram. I mean, I definitely was like on Facebook, but that was to like see what people I went to high school would look like. Not anything else. Knowing all of those people definitely really helped in launching Ban.do. Joy Cho takes full responsibility for launching my business, which I will grant her. But I feel like also like Jordan Fernie, there was like a group of girls that I was friends with online, had never met, but they all blogged about it when we started. So that was obviously a huge impact for me. And then I feel like as it's grown and Instagram has sort of taken over, I mean, what was that one with the short videos?
Vine?
Yeah. I mean, I definitely tried that. Loved Snapchat, but just felt eventually forced to go where the people were. And so I think like then it helped our business so much. Christina, who's here with us today, is our director of social media. So she really runs all of that. And then that sort of also gave me an opportunity to kind of create my own platform that I thought would be twofold. One, a great outlet for me because I still wanted that, as outside of the business. And then I also thought it would be an interesting lens to look through to Ban.do through me. Because obviously, like as a brand, we never established ourselves. I mean, we're a very personal brand, but we don't really get into the weeds on a lot of that stuff. And it's kind of hard to pivot in that way. But personally, I can do whatever I want. Knock on marble. I'm assuming I'll get shut down at some point. I should stop saying that because I'm going to manifest that. And
you might.
That's going to be bad. Anyway, so that's the brief history. Here we are now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Flickr to this moment. Flickr to this moment. Are either of you said you started 2 blogs?
I did.
Yeah.
One was my Polaroid blog because I was really into Polaroid photography. And then one was called Becoming a Foodie, because I used to be a food stylist. And I really loved cooking. And so, so I did like recipes and I don't know, all sorts of stuff.
That's amazing.
Food stories.
When's the last time either one of them got any love?
Years ago. I feel like I probably stopped posting in like 2009 because
wow.
we started Ban.do in 2008 and I was like still doing it. And then, like I'm saying, the difference between us, I was like, I actually can't manage like multiple things that like require my attention and my passion. And so eventually the writing was on the wall.
That's good.
Yeah.
Did you, I'm just curious about this because so many people start blogs, but did you say like goodbye, or was it just like one day you didn't post anymore?
You know what? We'd have to look. I feel like I started by saying, I could be wrong. This is my memory. So it'll definitely be fun to fact check because I'm wrong more than I'm right these days. But I feel like I stopped on the foodie blog because that was way more labor intensive and was like, I'm just going to post on my Polaroid blog. And then I think I might have eventually said no, but I also might have just drifted away. It also was like old school blog. It was like there weren't like ads or content or like it was literally just like
you doing you.
An outlet. It's really similar to like what my Instagram account is now. Like nice pictures. Well, sometimes they're not nice, but then it was, and just like thoughts.
Yeah.
Mostly. So
yeah. That's cool. I was just curious because I feel like
we can look. Are you Googling? Did I?
What was it? When's the last post?
August 10th, 2009.
Yeah, I did it.
August 10th, 2009.
So like
and did
a year.
You say goodbye, or was it just bye?
No.
Did
I was probably still fighting it, saying I can do this. That's usually that's how I'm going to go down, thinking that I can do more than I can.
That's amazing. Christina's looking it up.
Now I'm posting foodie goodness on my other blog. Please join.
Oh, so that's So I was right. So that's the Becoming a Foodie.
And then
Go to my Polaroid blog.
pictures and pancakes.
No, Pictures and Pancakes was someone else's thing.
Yeah, you plug someone else.
Well,
That was kind of you.
Thank you.
That was kind.
Yes.
Yeah. As you're going down, you're like, but go to her.
Go here. Yeah.
My Polaroid blog, December 15th, 2011.
Oh, wow.
Wow, you really went
What?
for it.
That's insane. Like I said, perfect memory. Fault.
I'm moving and selling lots of great stuff.
I'm moving and selling lots of great
so
stuff.
it was an advertisement for a garage sale. The one before that's probably 2009. That was when me and Joy and Bree, I think, had a big sale at my old house.
Oh man,
Anyways.
it's amazing. It's really funny because I mean, I know everyone has sort of gone in different directions, but like that was sort of those early days.
Oh my gosh.
Like when I started shooting for Rue. And like I started shooting for Rue, and that's how I found out about like all of you guys.
Oh,
and
yeah.
you guys were all like a pod, and then it was like, I mean, it all goes back to those early days, which is
So
like
crazy.
6 years ago now.
Yeah, at least. Yeah. I think about that a lot. I mean, all of the people that we just like sort of knew and were drawn in together. I mean, for us, for Ban.do, like, I mean, we used to have a bridal line. So that was sort of how we got in with like Paige and Kelly and even like meeting Max really early on and Shark Pig guys and all of that stuff. So.
No, but it's funny because like there was sort of this, and this is me going on a tangent, but as a side note, there was kind of this funny like OG crew of like all the original like bloggers and Joy and Bree and all that, you and Ban.do and even Jordan and Anne and all that like the OG team, and then all of a sudden like everyone in the world became a blogger, and but like that crew, the originals are still going strong, and they're still doing it, and
they
so many
wrote
people
the script.
they wrote the script, but they haven't ended the script and gone like, okay, everyone's doing it, so now we're out. And I think that's so interesting because so many people jumped on the script and jumped on the train and were like, we want a piece. And then they're like, whoa, this is hard. Or like, whoa, I'm bored, or whatever happened, or this is harder than it looks, and jumped off, and like that team is still just like chugging along, like making it up and being original.
Well, and evolving. I
Yes.
mean, it's just like any other business, really, or creative pursuit or anything. Like exactly what happened with them, like that happens in business. That happens with everything where, you're like, oh, I can do that too. And then I feel like there's a lot of like newer bloggers that are doing it right too, but it's like, you have to be able to evolve. I watch those girls evolve so many times and like get ahead of things and like understand the landscape. And I mean, that's what you have to do. It's the same with having a company. I mean, it's really the same with like, I think any professional pursuit. It's like nothing stays the same. So, and then once something gets popular, then it quickly becomes unpopular and you have to like be ahead of that. Like you have to see that coming. It's hard.
I'm waiting for that with the podcast world.
I think we have some time.
This
may be the point where
it definitely feels like every creative conference is starting to be like, ooh, should we have a panel about podcasting? And I'm like, oh my.
But the thing is it should just be a challenge to be great and original. It's a crowded landscape. It was crowded 2 years ago. It's so easy from a setup standpoint. So it's just the same as like a blog or, a web business. It's like the getting in is pretty easy. And then I feel like you have to do something that has some energy around it to get noticed and to grow. It's just like anything else.
Yeah.
It'll be good.
Should we just do some burpees to bring the energy to this episode?
That'd be cool if I burped right now. I know that's not what a burpee is, but...
Come on, we'll just burp before you leave and we'll edit it in.
I haven't
right
really
there.
had. Yeah, I know. I can feel that there's no gas for me to pull from. Need like a soda, but I'm not drinking soda.
Oh man. Okay, sparkling water. I'll get you some.
Yeah, right.
All right. So you've become someone that is a bit notorious for being open about your mental health.
Yeah.
How do you separate a space to care for your mental health, like in your own needs? Like you're being so vulnerable and sharing your journey with so many people all the time, even the really real stuff. Do you share every element, or do you have any like no-go Jen zones?
I don't think I have a no-go. I mean, I feel like there are probably things I don't say, but it's not because I'm actively trying to keep it private. It's just like I don't know if it's relevant or interesting or if it matters. I think the only thing, like even with Andrew and I mean, we were obviously going through something for a long time, but I didn't talk about that because it involved another person. Like the one beautiful thing about struggling with mental illness is it really only involves you. I mean, obviously there's fallout for people around you, but it's like my personal experience. So that's mostly what I talk about. I feel like I really don't talk about my relationships with people, my friendships. I mean, I try to just avoid all of that. But again, it's not because I don't want to, but I just haven't really navigated how to address that with the people, because it's like you have to respect their feeling. I mean, even with my parents, like I'm saying, even saying like, oh, they were this way or that way. Like my mom will always call me and be like, well, what did that mean? Like, I don't remember it that way. And it's like I should probably check with that, I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Though?
I totally know what you mean. I think like I'm hearing you say that because your mental health is yours and it's your journey and your process, you don't have to ask anyone's permission.
Yeah, just
except
me.
your own. And if you're fine with it, and if you don't wake up and go, oh, I just wish I had like, a safe space that I could go that doesn't have anything to do with anyone knowing about this, or if you don't need to have a person or a something that isn't public for everyone to know, then it works.
Yeah. But there's definitely not like a whole other aspect of my life that's not coming up. Like I feel like otherwise I'm pretty transparent. Yeah, I was trying to think like what, but what if there's anything I'm hiding it from myself too. So,
Well, that's probably just a life lesson for everyone.
Yeah, there might be a closet full of those.
I honestly think that this is, another episode, but I really do think that that's a really just common experience for humans. And I think that even with some of the episodes that I recorded, I feel like there are people who have this idea of themselves. And I'm like,
I think I'm pretty far off. I mean, especially when the other day the girls told me I say from a marketing perspective all the time. And I don't recall ever saying, were you in that meeting? And then I was like, wait, what's the list of things I say? But even just hearing that, I was like, and I say, I like to move it all the time. And I was like, oh my God, I do say that all the time. It's like little things like that. And then I'm like, oh, fuck, what am I doing? Like, who am I? Because you just get a little glimpse and then you're like, oh, people's relationship to me and like their idea of me is so different than my idea of myself.
Yeah.
And that is, I can't even go there. That's way too fucking scary.
Yeah. Well, and I think if I'm like posting on Instagram all the time, I'm curating and I'm saying what I want to say about myself.
Yeah.
And I think that affects the way I see myself and makes me think that that's how other people see me.
Yeah.
But I think that's not actually 100% true. I think it just affects my own like, oh, that's who I am or that's how I am. So it's really interesting. I think I keep saying I want to get like an actual therapist on here and ask them about, I want to ask them lots of questions about, our own brain makeup and how social media is changing that.
Ugh, I can't even imagine.
I want to get in there.
They'd probably tell you that your head's going to explode in like 10 years because of what we have to consume every day.
For real.
Yeah.
How have you seen social media change romantic relationships?
I'm still working on that for myself.
Are you on Tinder? Are you on Raya?
Yeah.
You are?
Yeah. That's awful.
Is it?
Sorry, Raya. Yeah.
Oh, did I say it wrong? Man, I'm old.
No. Well, I'm older than you, so what does that make me?
A hot single lady in LA?
I don't think it's right for me. I don't get any matches. No one matches with me. Tinder seems way too scary. I realized I don't want to use the word desperate because I don't want it to seem like I feel like people that are on dating apps are desperate, but I personally don't feel like being alone feels okay to me too. Like there's not enough of a pull for, I don't have a real passion for it.
Right. You're not like, I've got to
I was like, if this is going to be easy, I'd love to go out on some dates, but I'm not like trying to have a boyfriend. And soon after getting on there, I thought this is only going to, I'm still on there, but I haven't opened the app in a while. Soon after, I think I started feeling like, I think this is going to make you feel worse, not better, because for me, I feel like I don't produce pheromones. I don't know how that can be translated digitally, but like guys don't like me. Like girls like me, but guys don't like me. I'm not the person that guys like seek out. I think people like me when they get to know me, but whatever that initial draw is, which I've always brought down to pheromones, like I feel like I have certain friends that have like overproduced and guys would just like flock to them. And it wasn't like they were better looking or smarter or whatever. But anyways, I don't know how we got here. But
have you ever dated any women?
No. No, I think I'm pretty hardcore hetero. I don't know if women like me in that way. I just mean, I'm open if someone likes me that way. I think I meant more like women like me as a friend. I feel like no problem winning over women.
Yeah.
But men, whatever the point of entry is for them, I don't have it. I think I must seem weird.
Vagina?
Yeah. Well, that I have, just so we're clear. And it's doing fine. My doctor said it's like that of a 35-year-old.
Ooh.
which I think is pretty cool. That's basically because it's been shut down for like 10 years. So it's been in a garage under a tarp, like a fine vehicle.
You don't
like
even have to buy insurance
65
on that.
Bel Air, just ready to be back out on the open road. Take my tarp off. Drive me.
Driving to the sea. That's really funny. Okay, everyone, take Jen's tarp off. That's the pull quote of the day.
Who wants to take my tarp off? That I'm actually going to change my Raya profile to who wants to take my tarp off. And let's see if that works. Because what I've been doing does
Guys
not
like
work.
cars. Guys like cars.
That's what I'm saying.
I think you might
I'm gonna
find
do it
some great
today.
success.
I'm going to do it today.
Yeah.
I honestly think I'm just like too. I was thinking about this other night. I'm actually pretty normal. Like, I'm pretty normal in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
This is probably where the disconnect starts. But I think I seem much quirkier than I am. And so I think for women, that's cool. And I think for guys, that is like a signal of like complication and like, do I really want to get into that unless I'm a super weird guy? But I don't like super weird guys. I only like medium, like my amount of weird to normal.
Yeah.
Does that make any sense?
I'm hearing that.
Yeah. So I think that at the root of it. And then there's might be the side thing where I actually am weirder than I think I am. And I just haven't come to terms with that. I'm a medium. I have a lot of normal tendencies. I love chain restaurants.
Like which one?
Chili's,
Really?
Olive Garden,
Amazing.
Houston's, which is not really a chain restaurant.
Never
I mean,
been
there's
there.
What?
What? I don't even know what that is.
Oh, it's
Where is
so
one?
good. There's one in Pasadena.
Houston.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
expensive. I used to
Oh.
work there when I was like 21. I was a hostess. It's delicious.
Okay. So chain restaurant, Pasadena, Houston's.
Maybe
going
you
there.
can get sponsored by Houston's.
Okay. Houston's, if you're listening.
Their
call me.
the ribs and the spinach artichoke dip. Work at it.
All right.
Anyways, proof I'm normal.
Proof she's normal, guys. Take her tarp off. Now.
Oh my God, I'm changing every profile to take my tarp off.
Oh my
Let's just do it. I'll just do it for a month.
Yeah. And
then
then
I'll
report back.
and I'll see if that maybe the fact that my song for Raya, because you have to have a song, is "We don't have to take our clothes off to have a good time" is bad. I was kind of using it ironically, but maybe that and then like me dressed as like a unicorn rider is too much.
If you want to be if you want to be seen as normal,
I should be more normal.
then maybe be
maybe
more
I'll get
normal.
yeah. Maybe I
But-
should just be like pretty. Just
Oh,
like
you are
have
pretty.
some pretty pictures.
You have really nice brown eyes.
It's
like
nice.
them.
They're hazel.
Oh, sorry.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
They look brown.
I know.
So okay, so because going back to just like the OG question, you were on the dating scene before social media was even a thing.
Yeah.
Where people would literally like meet in bars and meet at birthday parties.
Yeah. Hated it.
You hated
Did
it?
it. Ugh. I'm telling you, as a person without pheromones, it's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah.
Yeah,
So-
I want to know, like, what have you seen, not even about your romantic relationships, but
yeah.
just like, what have you observed about
Oh.
them shift?
I don't think I've done much. I'm so caught up with my own romantic relationships and lack thereof that I don't think I've paid attention to anybody else's. I mean, other than like seeing people meet online and have it work out. But otherwise, I don't think I have noticed anything except for the fact that I would assume, there was internet dating so there were websites. So like Batch.com, and then there was this site called
Christian Mingle?
No, I would have been on JDate. I think it was Nerve. Nerve? I don't know. It was like the one if you were like an artist, you went on there instead of Match. And so I did that, and even on that, there were people sort of like curating who they were. So I think it's like that's probably the thing that's affecting it, is that there's a lot of really weird first dates because you think you're meeting one person because of the what they've created online, and you actually meet someone else. That's actually, I think I just realized why my Raya profile doesn't work, because I feel like I'm being too transparent and not doing like a save face PR move and then surprise and then try and lock them in on the date.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Okay. Well, this is all very revealing for you. You're gonna walk out of
for
here.
helping me.
You're gonna walk out of here with a whole new dating plan. It's really good. I can't wait. If I was on Raya, I would look for your tarp.
Take it off.
Is there anything that you wish that you hadn't revealed online in all of your years of being out there and doing your thing?
I don't think so. I mean, I feel like there have been times that I have inadvertently either intruded upon people or alienated people, but not actively. And I hate that happened, but I have never done it on purpose. So I don't feel bad about it. Like, I wouldn't take anything back per se, because I know what my motives were for doing things, but I just think like it's so complicated that it really affects people in different ways. I mean, just in the same way that like you see a bunch of people at a party and know you didn't get invited to it, and then you're like, and then, but I'm not like mad at them, but it hurts. So they didn't try and hurt me.
Yeah.
So I feel like I inadvertently hurt people or make people feel uncomfortable. But I wouldn't necessarily say I change it, because I don't know. I don't think I hurt them that bad.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Speaking of seeing that you're not invited to a party, I can't wait for people to get smart enough to know that like if they say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I can't come," like I'm gonna be with my mom,
you gotta
or something. I'm like,
go off the social.
Yeah, you have to be consistent. When someone's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I can't come," like my mom's in town, and then you watch their story, and you're like,
that's
not
just
with your mom.
Yeah, that's social media 101. I mean, come on. If you haven't figured that out, you probably should just get off the internet completely, you know?
My favorite in the world, someone that we know, said, "Oh, by the way, tomorrow I'm gonna be posting some stories that I'm flying somewhere,
but I'm not.
But I said I couldn't do a job, and so I saved some plane
That's
footage.
Amazing.
That I'm gonna post on my story.
That would be like a cool thing to sell, like footage of like
Today,
trips or New York City or whatever, just so that you could evidence for your story
to get out of a job.
Yeah,
but like, I mean, I'm not an advocate for lying, but I'm also an advocate for actually, like, if you're going to do something or say something or say you won't do something, then make sure that your social media lines up with that. And so for this person, that means that they said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I can't, I'm going to be in New York." And then they were like, "Okay, I better quickly post some plane footage."
I love it. That's really smart.
Like, oh my gosh.
That's really smart.
All right, so I'm collabing with Cat Footwear for my first year of Out of Line. And one of the reasons I felt like it was a good fit for us to work together is because they're all about risk taking. And Lord knows we know a little bit about that. So can you tell us about a time when you took a risk creatively? I'm going to say that again. Can you tell us about a time when you took a risk creatively that ended not so well? And then a different story with a happier ending. Risks are important. Obviously, we both know that. But I think it's also good to remember that sometimes when you jump, you fall on the rocks.
Yeah. And you get hurt.
Yeah.
You know, Ban.do is probably the general answer to both of those questions. And like sort of going through the very dusty pathways of my mind, to think about, like, to isolate one thing on either side is really hard for me, because I feel like at this point, the amount of creative risks that are taken on an hourly basis it's so crazy that they stop feeling like a risk. And I mean, you know, my job is chief creative officer. So I literally just have to like put my ideas and my gut instincts out and convince other people that they're right when I actually have no idea because it's subjective. So I feel like there are risks that we take every day, and some work and some don't. It could be as simple as like us deciding what to post and then the post not resonating. It could be us spending, $30,000 on like a photo and video campaign that doesn't play out the way that you hoped. It could be a product that I thought would be amazing and just was either too far ahead or it didn't click. And then on the flip side, all of those things can also pay off. So I think I think there's been a lot of small risks, a lot of medium risks, and a lot of large risks. And they all, for me, connect to Ban.do. I mean, prior to that, I think I took creative risks too, because I've been in like a creative field for a really long time, but I've sort of blocked out everything pre-Ban.do because it's all I think about. So yeah, I mean, and honestly, even what I do on my own social media is like a creative risk because it really is an outlet for me. I mean, it's just because it's not like beautiful and curated, like it's still creativity is about creating, and so like I still think about it. So there's definitely been like posts that I've put that felt like this is going to be a risk to say this, like this could either go really well or really poorly. And up to this point, I feel like I've been pretty lucky that those have paid off and I've been able to build on that. So I think it's really probably about the numbers of like how many risks pay off versus don't, because you absolutely have both all the time. And then it's also like what you focus on, which I'm an optimist. So I just focus on the ones that work and learn from the ones that didn't and just try not to make the same mistake twice or 20 times, depending on.
Do you said about the numbers, do you have like a ratio in your head of around how many usually, I mean like.
Oh, I think we're definitely in the black on that. Is that the term? I never know if it's in the red or in the black.
Black
red's
means
prettier than black, but I
is.
think red is warning and black is solid ground.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I feel like in order to have a successful anything, you'd have to have more payoff than not. And either way, one really big creative risk could mean failure, like total failure, or like catapult you. I don't feel like we've done anything. I mean, we're kind of a sensible group. So I feel like it's like there are parameters around our risk taking, even if we don't pronounce them. So
I like your sensibility.
Thanks. I've been trained. This is training. I would definitely be doing some crazy shit, but I'm accountable now. So
Wow.
yeah, it's okay. I had that period of my life. So
well done. And even taking the risk of selling
yeah,
those
was
reins
totally
to someone else.
Yeah. Well, that was totally a risk. I guess it's just like jumping out of a plane feels like a risk to me. But like doing things that are going to potentially further your business or help get your ideas out or whatever, I just don't categorize them as risks in my, like, it just feels like an opportunity. So I guess it's just like my relationship to even the vernacular is like, I don't ever think we say like, this is really risky. I guess you just sort of know it, but you're just like,
it's part of the game.
Part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's like we're doing like a big thing at Ban.do this weekend, the mall. Maybe you've heard of it.
I'm shooting it.
Yes. But like, so that's a risk. We're taking a lot of people out of their day-to-day jobs to do something that is fueled creatively, but that we need to make money because we're a business and we have no idea how it will go. I mean, just like everything else, when we open our doors, we hope that people show up and buy into what we're doing, but who knows if it's going to do that. But I think it's just like, as we make the decision, we all sort of just can know, okay, well, that, yeah, that's just like everything else. So
Sweet.
Yeah.
I love it.
thanks.
What is your favorite self-care activity?
Laying in bed. I have a lot. I actually like to vary. I don't do the same thing over and over again, but I mean, it really ranges. Laying in bed is definitely top of the list. I have a really comfortable bed, and I just like, there's no better feeling than laying down.
What brand is it?
Tuft and Needle.
And they're really good?
So good. It's like, I think like a Casper type thing, but nothing against Casper, but my parents have a Casper mattress and I have a Tuft and Needle mattress, and they laid on mine when they were here for Thanksgiving, and they were like, whoa, they like didn't want to get out of bed either. I'm actually not sure if it's not good, because I am so in love with it, my bed, that sometimes it's just really
Hard to.
detrimental. But I also exercise is a new self-care. I kind of have a weird relationship with exercise. Like, I'm sort of like all in or all out. But I definitely feel better after I do that. Reiki healing, so cool.
Yeah, you love it?
Love that. Don't do it that much, because I feel like I have friends that go really often, but I feel like I just like wait till I feel like I need it. But that feels really special to do that.
Wow. Do you have a favorite person to go to?
Yeah, her name is Betty Reinhardt.
Okay, Betty.
Yeah, she's amazing. My friend introduced me to her, and she's like really, really amazing.
What's that experience like for you? Like let's say someone's like, I've never even done Reiki.
Yeah.
What do you
Well, I am a believer, and I'm also very prone to the power of suggestion. So let me just say that first, because I feel like you can't go into a lot of the things that I do. Like, I have rocks in my bag. It's like you can't go into a lot of that with doubt. Like, you have to sort of be open-hearted and open-minded, and I'm very much so when it comes to that stuff. So, but yeah, you go and you talk a little bit about what you're trying to work on, or what your problem is, or what you want solutions for, or whatever. And then, which is great, because it's like a mini therapy session. And then you lay in this room, and she's sort of, it has to do with your chakras. And so you just lay there quietly with your eyes closed, and she sort of works on your chakras with a combination of like this like flower water that she uses, and it's like some chanting. I mean, if you're not into it, it would be weird, but I'm like, I love stuff like that. And the first time I went, it's like your third eye can open, which I've had happen a lot. I had a really crazy thing happen at the Integratron to get the sound bath. But this was the first time that I just saw color, which is like exactly, I was like floored, because I had never, normally it's like a waking dream, but this was like nothing except for just different colors during different times. So that's it. And it's like, I think it's like an hour and a half, and then you feel really good afterwards. And then sometimes you feel a little weird afterwards, but I don't know. I think it's cool. We would talk a lot about just like, your soul versus your mind and stuff, I mean, it's just like, it's a lot. It's a big responsibility to try and understand. But.
Yeah. No, I like weird thing. I think most of what we do, I mean, even sometimes like when I'm shooting a wedding, that's like a Catholic wedding.
Yeah.
And I go in and I'm like watching a Catholic ceremony, and like, I'm not Catholic, but I'm like, I know this is something that as a society we accept as normal.
Yeah.
But if I walked in here and I had no idea what this was, I'd be like, this is so weird.
Yeah.
This is so weird.
Yeah.
So,
well, and it's just
I'm into weird.
ritual. It's just rituals.
Yeah.
So it's like different people's rituals. But yeah, I mean, I feel like I could give you a list of like 100 things I do to take care of myself. So
I like it. I'm glad you
knowing
take
my
such good care of
limits.
yourself.
Yeah. I mean, I'm getting better. I go through phases where all I want to do is demolish myself. So there's that too. But I think years ago, I had a therapist who gave me permission to take care of myself and not push myself to the point of breakdown. And that's always stuck with me. And so I think like the one thing about going through a divorce has meant I have that much more time to think about myself and my feelings and how I'm doing. And I don't really have to worry about anybody else. And that's not to say that I don't worry about anybody else, but it really put me into focus. And so like, I feel like this year, also I have a huge responsibility of running a company. So like, if I'm not taking care of myself, like I could lose my job. So I don't want to do that. Anyways,
That's good.
that's my short answer.
Short answer. Wow. Okay. Well, next time I can't think of how to take care of myself, I'm calling you.
Please do. I really do have lots of ways. I only mentioned a few.
I like it.
Yeah.
What's one thing you have in common with everyone?
But it wasn't everyone. It's
With
every single human on the planet. I literally was like racking my brain trying to think of what it was. And then everything I came up with, I was like, no, some people don't have that. And I literally came up with skin because I feel like everybody has skin. But
a great
really,
answer.
I was like, I mean,
That's a great answer.
a soul. But then it's like, does everyone? I mean, I think they do, but I feel like there are some people that are really making me question that.
Well,
So,
I know.
but what have other people said?
Well, it's actually so interesting, and I love that you said skin because everyone so far no one said the same thing.
Yeah.
And I've been asking a lot of people, and in a lot of times it's like that people, and sometimes I agree with them, and I'm like, yeah, I can totally see that. And other times I'm like, I don't know if I totally agree with that. So I just love it. And I think right now when we're in a time where even as a country, like so much, everything is like versus and polarized and this side and that side and this color and that color.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, well, clearly there's stuff out there that we have in common.
Yeah.
And what would it look like if we talked about that or
Yeah.
even just like brought that up and met in a, even if the like field is very small that
Yeah.
we have in common,
Yeah.
then like let's meet on the
Start
fact that
there.
we have
Yeah.
skin.
Yeah.
Because you could literally meet with someone that like you could sit down now that you know that, you could sit down with anyone that you have nothing in common with and be like, how's your skin been lately?
Your skin looks really nice. I think it's good. It's good to hear the context of the question. I think that I was pre-law in college and I studied like a lot of logic, and I really feel like I was probably canceling out other answers because I was like, but do you have proof that everyone has that?
Did you have answer option A, B, C, D?
Well, I think I was just like definitely going to like like capacity to love. Or, like I was going to like an emotional place, but then I was like, I don't know that I have proof. And then I was like, I don't feel like I've ever heard about someone not having skin.
I don't
feel
think
like
they could
not
survive.
hair, not like I mean, everything else is like optional.
Yeah.
Eyelashes, eyeballs, I guess mouths, but because I don't think you could not have a mouth.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
Butts. I changed my answer. Butts. How's your skin? How's your butt?
How's your butt?
mouth?
I mean, you could get some really interesting answers if you start with that.
Yeah.
How's your butt?
Yeah.
Well,
I feel like I could also be in a lot of trouble.
well, thanks for coming up with skin. I like how practical that is. It's very practical. It isn't like too ethereal and woo woo. And we're all born looking for love. And
Yeah, you can't. That cannot be proven.
can't be.
I wanted my answer to be able to hold up in court. So there you have it.
Well, thanks for being here. I hope someone lifts your tarp soon.
Oh, me too. Oh. You have to remind me to change it.
It's amazing.
I definitely went into I don't know what happened there, but I'm glad you recorded it.
It was really good. Thanks. That was awesome. You've been listening to Out of Line with Caroline Lee. Tweet me at Team Woodnote or tag me in your posts on Instagram using Out of Line Podcast and let me know what you thought of today's discussion and who you'd like to hear as a guest on Out of Line next. This episode of Out of Line was produced by me, Caroline. All sound editing, engineering, and original music composition by Jaden Lee.
And a big thank you to Cat Footwear for working with Out of Line this season. Hit subscribe to get the next episode on your mobile device when it drops next week. And if you love what you heard, please whip out a review, will ya?